Armageddon's on the way.
Space. So on Monday's show, a few things happened just during the show that really popped up. It was nice of them to save it for us, so we were already live. But one of the things was the Nord Stream explosions that happened during the show on Monday. The other thing was the DART collide, the NASA DART mission. Now, we've reported on the DART mission before. So longtime listeners will remember this, but it concluded. They wrapped up the mission on Monday, and here's how it ended. SpaceNews.com. DART collides with asteroid in planetary defense test. Ooh. A NASA spacecraft collided with a moon orbiting a near-Earth asteroid on September 26th in a demonstration of technology that could one day be used to protect Earth from a hazardous object. I like that. A hazardous object. NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test, DART, spacecraft hit Dimorphos, an asteroid about 160 meters across, orbiting the larger asteroid Didymus at 7:14 p.m. Eastern. Confirmation of the impact at a speed of 6.5 kilometers per second came from a loss of signal from DART at Mission Control at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab, APL here.
Are you sure it wasn't just a simulation? Do we know for sure that this
I'm not sure of anything, Gons. I'm not sure of anything anymore. The final approach of DART to Dimorphos appeared to go as planned, with no issues reported by controllers in the last hour. The spacecraft was able to autonomously lock onto Dimorphos and target the asteroid, 160 meters across, with a final reported miss distance of only 17 meters from the center of the asteroid. The robots, it was a kamikaze AI, was driving this thing. Quote, 40 minutes out, you were really getting a good feeling, Ed Reynolds, DART program manager at APL, said at a post-impact briefing. In the final 2 minutes, when the spacecraft's trajectory could no longer be changed and it showed it to be on course for impact. Quote, it was just joy. You got to enjoy the moment. You know what? I believe him. You know, if anybody's ever made a real project out of destroying something, it's really satisfying when it does get destroyed the way you planned.
Yeah, this is not good for the future AI, looking back at history and how robots and machines were treated by humans. This is a horrible
it's not very socially responsible to do this to potentially sentient beings like AI. Yeah. Quote, we saw that we are going to impact this asteroid was coming into the field of view for the first time. We really had no idea what to expect, said Elena Adams, a mission system engineer for DART at APL, said, quote, all of us were kind of holding our breaths. DART launched last November as NASA's first dedicated planetary defense mission. The purpose of DART is to test the, quote, kinetic impactor approach to changing the trajectory of asteroids if one was found to be on a collision course with Earth. The impact kicks off a campaign of observations to determine the change of the orbit of Dimorphos around Didymus. Nancy Chabot? I thought it was Nancy Chatbot. Nancy Chatbot coordination.
Chabot.
I think it's chatbot. Coordination lead for DART at APL. Yeah. Sorry. Said more than 36 observatories around the world plan to observe the asteroid using optical and radar instruments to measure the change. Quote, we want to maximize what we're able to learn from this first planetary defense mission. So we've kept the international worldwide observation campaign pretty open, she said.
Yeah, definitely not the first one, but okay.
You don't think it's the first one, huh?
I don't think it's the first public one, maybe.
You think they've been crashing stuff into asteroids for a while? You know, there's been a lot of news in recent years about space programs purposefully crashing different things. Yeah. You have the Israeli tardigrade crash that happened, a few years ago. This was an Israeli moon observation craft that had a bunch of freeze-dried tardigrades on them.
Yeah.
And crashed it into the moon. There was another crash.
China did one recently. I know when I was... this must have been in the 2000s. I remember the bell. This is before. Yeah, there was the bell.
Yeah, we talked about it on the Canary Cry Radio Moon episode.
Yeah, the Moon episode where they crashed into it, and I remember the news was telling us, "Oh, you'll be able to see the plume."
Uh-huh.
And so we were all kind of watching, and we we're like, "There's no plume. What are we? No, come on." That was before we questioned everything.
I don't know about that, but I do know when they did. I hear you. I believe you. Yeah. I just don't remember that part. But I do remember them saying that's where the hollow moon theory came from. You crash something in there and it rang like a bell. And then, China crashed their thing recently. And then there's the mystery double rocket that just this year crashed into the moon. Nobody's taking responsibility for the mystery double rocket that crashed into the moon. So apparently crashing things up in space is kind of just like a pastime for humans. So I don't know. I'm glad that they had a good time. Mm-hmm. We did receive a message, Gonzo, that we may have a connection with someone who actually worked on the DART mission.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So we're being gentle. I'm being passive and gentle with this news. But we'll see. We might be able to talk to somebody who worked on the mission. We will see. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. We would love to hear more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would love to learn more about what this whole agenda is. Maybe someone mentioned in the chat Apophis 2029. Maybe they're getting ready to do a whole these are just test runs of the real thing.
Oh yeah. Planet X type of thing, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't want to close my eyes really, because I don't want to fall asleep. Because I'd miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Why are we doing this?
You don't know the reference?
Is that from Armageddon?
The song "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing." The first #1 hit by Aerosmith.
Okay.
It must have been 19.
No, I know the song. I know you are singing a song.
Yeah, it's the Armageddon theme song.
It was on the track. It was on the soundtrack.
Yeah, this is Liv Tyler looking at a screen of Ben Affleck and his dad, Bruce Willis, sacrificing.
It's easier to train. It's easier to train drill people to be astronauts than to train astronauts to be drill people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That. They go to the oil rigs to find the guy.
Yes, you got to
do the mission.
That was one of the very few VHS tapes I owned as a child. We had the strangest VHS tape collection in my house. We had that one, Armageddon. Mm-hmm. We had the original, early 2000s, late 1990s Hulk movie.
I was gonna say the Swamp Thing, so I was close.
Yeah, it was close. It was it was back when the super what are they called? Superhero movies weren't cool. They weren't popular. It was pre-Marvel days. Mm-hmm. We had Titanic, the dual VHS set of Titanic. And the Grateful Dead New Year's Eve 1972 or something VHS.
Wow.
And that was all the VHSs we owned.
Eclectic
we just watched those over and over and over. It was a good time.
I don't know how we ever lived in a world where we couldn't just
watch whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, just drag our finger and fast forward or reverse, just VHSs, man.
Yeah.
Those are the real.
And Phenomenon with what's his name? John Travolta.
Good.
Did you see Phenomenon with John Travolta?
I may have seen it. I don't know.
I don't quite remember it. I think he gets visited by aliens or something and then gets telekinetic powers and kind of becomes
the one where he's
cult leader
dressed,
or something.
Is that the one where like it did horrible in theaters and he's dressed all alien-like?
No, that's Battlefield Earth.
Oh, right.
Which is an excellent film. If anybody, Battlefield Earth, you must watch Battlefield Earth if you want to understand just how wild the 90s were for science fiction. I don't even think it was 90s. I think it was like 2000 it came out. Yeah. Did you know it's like a parable of Scientology?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Or maybe it's literal. Who knows?
They got real footage from all the
literal telling of Scientology theology.
Yeah, and the director of that movie, Roger Christian, sounds psyopy, doesn't it?
Did you
like
just
RC
look it up?
Christian?
Are you Googling it?
Of course I looked. I did not know that firsthand. That's not a piece of information I know.
I don't know, man. Sometimes you have weird stuff cataloged.
That's true. I
up there.
have weird knowledge bank. Armageddon was June 30th, 1998. I saw that movie on July 4th. It was the first time the movie theaters had like the mega widescreen.
Oh yeah,
you know?
When they switched over to the 16:9
format. It was bigger than 16:9. It was
the aspect change. Ratio format change. Yeah.
It was huge. The whole wall was a screen. Yeah, the whole deal. So I remember it very well. That and Contact. But there you go.
He's a true patriot, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, of course. And Joe Biden warned us.
Armageddon's on the way.
Maybe he was talking about the what is it? The DART. What is it? The DART project. DART mission.
DART mission. Yeah, we are in a weird time of humanity where things that were in blockbuster movies in the 90s, it's only been 24 years since that movie came out. And now it's a semi-reality.
It's been 24 years.
But you can tell the difference. The difference is in the movie Armageddon, we needed humans to be involved in the process. Nobody. I mean, I guess it wouldn't make a very good movie if it was just an autonomous AI with no need for humans. It's hard to make an exciting movie out of an AI just silently whizzing through space.
Didn't the movie Armageddon trigger a whole bunch of apocalyptic movies where like every plot, like the movie plots were all the same? It was just either an asteroid or a comet or it was just all the same kind of thing every time.
Yeah. Interesting you bring that up. Yeah. It did sort of kick off the
end times genre.
The true obsession that Hollywood had with end of the world stuff. Yeah. That movie did so well that they're like, oh, I guess everybody's really interested in the end of the world. And that kind of kicked off the golden era of apocalyptic Hollywood movies.
Armageddon, the movie, has grossed $553 million, or did gross. That's a lot.
That's a lot, especially for the 90s.
Movie?
Especially for the 90s, that's a lot. Yeah.
What did Titanic do?
Most of it's VHS sales. See, we don't get that
they had
nowadays.
DVDs at that point.
98?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yes, they did. Come on.
They may have had it, but it wasn't like the exclusive. I mean, that was like if you had a DVD player in 98, you had $800 laying around or whatever.
Oh, maybe. Hold on. DVD, commercial DVD year. Let me just see what the interwebs tells us, because we're all going to be smarter with all the data. We will be smarter than any human.
Very important end of show information here.
Yeah, commercially available in 1997.
Yeah, okay. So commercial. So yeah, there you go. They were just out, and it would have been incredibly expensive to have it. Nobody had made the full switch yet.
Sure.
Anyways, yeah, it was probably out on DVD, but I had it on VHS, okay? Because I was a retro cool guy at the time.